Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to unpack those big ideas, the ones everyone talks about, and really pull out the core insights you can actually use. Today we're tackling the final step of the Noble Eightfold Path. Samadhi, right concentration. I mean, everyone's looking for focus, right? For calm. We know concentration is key in meditation, but that brings up a really fundamental question, one the sources demand we answer. What kind of concentration are we talking about here? What did the Buddha actually teach? And crucially, how do you know if it's right Sammā and not just, deep or pleasant?
That's precisely the point. It's a fascinating tension, actually. If you dig into the classical texts, they give you a very clear, almost high-bar definition for what right concentration ultimately looks like. But, and this is key, they also show how you get there, often from what seems like a completely different starting point. It gives you the whole picture, from beginning to end. We're not just talking depth today, we're talking about purpose.
Okay, so let's start at the top. If we want the official canonical benchmark for Sammā Samādhi, according to the path, what do the main sutras like the Mahasatipatthana Sutta point to?
They point directly to the four jhanas. Specifically, the eighth factor of the path, Sammā Samādhi, is classically defined as attaining and mastering the fourth jhana, Jhāna 4.
Jhāna 4, wow, that sounds intense. Much more than just, say, focusing on your breath for 20 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. It's leagues beyond simple calmness. The sources are demanding something truly transformative. Jhāna 4 is understood as the deepest type of fixed concentration, sometimes called Appana Samadhi. Think full meditative absorption. The descriptions paint a picture of a mind that's totally settled, unified. And crucially, it's purified, completely free from those five hindrances, the nirvana.
Right, things like desire, restlessness, doubt, the stuff that usually derails our focus.
Exactly. Those are gone. So it's not just stable, it's stability born from purification.
Okay, so what's the state itself like? What characterizes it?
Well, it's described as a pure establishment of mind. That means it's locked onto its object, unwavering. And this perfect focus comes with perfect equanimity, upekkha, and really sharp, clear mindfulness, sati.
And why this specific deep state? What's its job on the path?
Its function is very specific. This profound stability is needed because it serves as the strongest possible launch pad for developing wisdom, panya. Only a mind this unified, this clear, has the power needed to really penetrate the deepest truths about reality and ultimately lead to liberation. Without that kind of stability, any insights tend to be, well, a bit superficial or just conceptual.
Okay, here's where I think things get tricky for a lot of people practicing. It feels like a paradox. The goal you just described, Jhāna 4, is super deep fixed concentration, like laser focus on one thing.
Right.
But then you look at a common insight practice, Vipassanā, using mindfulness, Sammā Sati. What does that involve?
It involves observing phenomena as they arise and pass away.
Yeah. Exactly. Constant shifting. You're using the four foundations of mindfulness, Satipatthana 4. You notice sound, then a feeling, then a thought, then the breath.
Yeah.
It's rapid-fire awareness of change. So if your attention is always moving, how on earth does that lead to fixed concentration? Isn't that the opposite?
Yes, the apparent contradiction. This is where the concept of Khanika Samādhi comes in. It means momentary concentration. The key is that the continuous, unbroken awareness of these changing phenomena, that constant noting, actually creates its own kind of concentration, even though each individual moment of awareness is brief.
Wait, hang on. Momentary concentration. If I notice a pain and I'm aware of it for maybe a second before my mind notes thinking or hears a car horn,
Yeah.
how can that fleeting second be strong enough? It seems too fragile.
Think of it like this. Imagine watching a movie. Each frame on the film is just a static picture, right? It's only there for a fraction of a second. But because the frames run one after another, without any gaps, your brain perceives smooth, continuous motion. It creates stability out of fleeting moments. In the mind, Sammā Sati, right, mindfulness, ensures that awareness of the present moment is continuous. There are no gaps.
I see. So the continuity makes up for the lack of depth in any single instant. These tiny moments of concentration add up, creating a kind of steady momentum.
Precisely. And this Khanika Samādhi, this momentary concentration, is powerful enough to do two really important things, especially for the insight path. First, by constantly anchoring the mind in the now, it prevents it from drifting off into unwholesome thoughts, worries, fantasies, what they call akusala. It just keeps things clean.
Okay, so it's like mental hygiene.
Sort of, yeah. And second, critically, this steady stream of momentary focus provides enough energy, enough clarity for wisdom, panya, to do its job, which is to clearly see the fundamental nature of reality, that all conditioned things arise and pass away, impermanence, suffering. not self.
So this Khanika Samādhi is the type of right concentration that powers the Vipassanā approach, at least initially. It's the entry point.
Exactly. And understanding that resolves the paradox. Khanika Samādhi isn't the final destination for the path factor. It's the spark plug. It gets the engine going. To get from that momentary focus to the deep stability of Jhāna 4, the path works like a system. It's often described as the Eightfold Path as a cycle, or Margavada.
Right. I like thinking of it as a spiral staircase rather than just a list of steps. You keep circling back, but each time you're a bit higher. So how does this momentary concentration start that upward spiral?
Well, it creates this immediate feedback loop. The wisdom aspect, samadhi or right view, gets sharper because it's fueled by this clear momentary attention. It starts to really see impermanence, not just think about it, but witness it directly in every sensation, every thought.
Okay, so wisdom gets a boost.
Right.
What happens then?
When that wisdom gets stronger, you naturally start to let go of attachment. You see things arise and pass, so you cling less. And clinging less means the mental static, the hindrances, the nirvana starts to fade.
Ah, so seeing reality more clearly reduces the mental gunk.
Exactly. And less mental gunk means more peace, more clarity. And that increased peace naturally allows the concentration itself to deepen.
So better insight quiets the mind, and a quieter mind allows for even stronger focus.
Precisely. The concentration naturally evolves. It moves beyond just momentary khanika towards what's called Upakara Samadhi access concentration. This is the stage right before jhana. And as this cycle repeats, sharper wisdom leads to deeper calm allows for even sharper wisdom. The mind eventually becomes fully unified. It gains the stability needed to enter the jhanas, 1 through 4.
Got it. So Sammā Samādhi is both things. It's the initial dynamic engine of momentary focus in Vipassanā, and it's the perfected, super stable state of Jhāna 4. The momentary type starts the spiral, and Jhāna 4 is where that factor reaches its peak potential.
Now, there's a really important clarification we need to make here about mindfulness, Sammā Sati. It's easy to think of the 4 foundations, Satipatthana 4, as only being for insight, for Vipassanā.
Right, people often associate it just with noting thoughts and feelings, but the sources say mindfulness itself is more like a tool, isn't it? It can be used for different jobs.
Absolutely. Satipatthana 4 is the fundamental tool for developing both major branches of meditation, samatha, which is calmness or concentration, and vipassana, insight. The difference isn't the tool, it's the intention you bring to using it.
Okay, can you break that down and give us an example? How does intention change the practice?
Sure. Let's take watching the breath. That's part of mindfulness of the body, Kayanopasana, one of the 4 foundations. Now, if a practitioner observes the breath with the single-minded goal of making the mind incredibly stable, totally still, cutting off all distractions to achieve deep absorption, that's samatha pavana. That's the direct path aiming straight for Jhāna 4.
So, same object, the breath, but the goal is pure stability. Exclude everything else.
Right. Whereas another practitioner, also watching the breath, might be using it as an anchor, but their primary intention is to observe the qualities of the breath. It's arising, it's changing sensations, it's passing away, and notice how the mind reacts. That's using sati for vipassana, generating that momentary concentration, Khanika Samādhi, to fuel insight.
Interesting. So you could have 2 people sitting next to each other, both seemingly just watching their breath. One is building towards jhana, pure focus. The other is cultivating moment-to-moment insight. The outer form looks similar, but the inner intention dictates the outcome.
That's the crucial point. Mindfulness, sati, is essential for developing Sammā Samādhi, regardless of whether you prioritize jhana first, samatha-led, or insight first, vipassana-led. You can't get to right concentration without right mindfulness powering the way.
Okay, we spent all this time defining what makes concentration right. But the Buddha also warned about the opposite. Make a samadhi. Wrong concentration. How can deep focus possibly be wrong? That seems counterintuitive.
This is maybe the most critical distinction for anyone serious about the path. Yes, concentration can be incredibly deep, even reaching the stillness of Jhāna 4, but still be fundamentally wrong if it's missing a key ingredient.
And that ingredient is?
Samadhi, right view.
Ah, okay, so depth alone isn't enough. It needs to be guided correctly.
Precisely. Concentration goes wrong, becomes Mika Samādhi, if, for instance, it's coupled with wrong view. Imagine someone achieves amazing mental stillness, profound peace, but they interpret that state as discovering a permanent, unchanging self or soul. They think, This stillness is me, my true essence.
So they're using the concentration to reinforce a core delusion rather than seeing through it.
Exactly. The concentration becomes, as you said, a beautifully polished cage. It feels good, but it traps them further in ignorance. Another way concentration goes wrong is if it's driven by impure intentions, like seeking concentration purely to gain psychic powers, or for fame, status, material rewards, or just wanting to feel powerful or special. If the motivation isn't aligned with liberation, the concentration, no matter how deep, is considered wrong in the context of the path.
So true Sammā Samādhi is about the whole package then. Stability, yes, but guided by the right understanding and the right ethics.
Absolutely. It needs to be integrated with wisdom, panya, and morality, sila. Concentration isn't an end in itself. It's a powerful tool. Its sole legitimate purpose on the path is to sharpen the mind, to give it the stability and power needed to cut through delusion, understand the Four Noble Truths, and ultimately attain nibbana. If it's not serving that goal, it's just a sophisticated form of escapism or spiritual materialism. Hashtag outro. So wrapping this up, we see right concentration is actually quite nuanced. It can be that initial momentary focus, Khanika Samādhi, that gets the insight ball rolling. And it's also that perfected, unwavering state of Jhāna 4. But the real test of whether concentration is right isn't just how deep or quiet it is. It's about whether it's infused with right view, understanding reality correctly, and driven by the pure intention of liberation.
That difference, seeking calm just to feel calm versus seeking calm as a stable base for seeing truth, that's a really vital distinction. And it leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. If Sammā Samādhi is so deeply tied to right view and right mindfulness, think about our modern quest for intense focus or calm, things like extreme digital detoxes, isolating ourselves completely, or even the intense concentration needed for high-level skills. Could these pursuits, if they lack that underlying intention to develop wisdom about how things really are, about impermanence, about attachment, could they subtly become a form of Khanika Samādhi, wrong concentration? Just something to consider. The balance between wanting a quiet mind and truly seeking an awakened one. Thanks for diving deep with us again today. We'll talk to you next time.